Rental guarantees, we often see this when there's a new project being marketed. Is it a gimmick? Is it a great benefit? Should you ask for it, steer clear of it? We're going to talk about it on this morning's show. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Morning Minutes. Myself, Michael Bergio, Mark Novak, episode 505. Rental guarantees. Is it a gimmick? Is it good? Is it bad? And if you do have one, what should you look for? We often see this when a new development is being marketed to the market, and developers generally offer it. So from a buyer's angle, what is a rental guarantee? What to look for with the rental guarantee? Mark and I will speak about it this morning. Good morning, Mark.
Mr. Bergio, how are you, legend?
Good. So rental guarantees, what is that? When you see that on a realestate.com ad for a unit you're looking to buy, what does it mean?
Yeah, look, people freak out about can they rent their property out if they have an investment property. They freak out thinking, oh my God, is it going to be vacant? If it's vacant, how am I going to support that mortgage? I'm stuffed. Agents don't freak out because we know that at a price, anything and everything gets rented and, for example, sold as well at a price.
Especially residential.
Yeah, so I think with rental guarantees, there's it's playing on people's emotions where they want like an assurance or insurance policy that the property is definitely going to have rent flowing and coming in.
Because especially that's the big thing as well, especially residential and maybe their first investment property. And a lot of the time, if we face the facts, if it's not rented, people can't afford the mortgage. More often than not, we're seeing a bit of a tweak now with how people are lending money. But let's say up until the last few years, most people, I don't say most, but a lot of people would not have been able to pay the mortgage on their investment property if the property was rented. And we can almost say it for a fact because the banks they really relied on that rental income. A lot of the time, up until a few years ago, they count whatever the rent was, they added it to your income. They never even looked at the scenario of, what happens if you can't rent it? Can you still pay the mortgage? They never asked that question. And and the facts are most people would not have been able to get a loan if the banks didn't count that rental income as basically guaranteed. So I can definitely feel why it's a good marketing strategy from as developers, because it almost hits the nerve of that sensitive point from a buyer going, shit, if it's not rented, I actually can't afford this. I'm buying something I can't pay for unless it's rented. Like, it's quite daunting when you think of it. You're like, wow, that's pretty crazy. You're relying on a third party or some other factors to pay a mortgage. But from our point of view as agents, we just know how that the rental market, there's always someone looking. You don't really see properties empty for that long unless it's the owner's price is really high. So everything does get rented. You can almost say that with absolute confidence. And if you're buying a new property, it's new. You would doubt to see there'll be something in there that it would rent for. But I can see where they hit the nerve. Guarantee, and people are like, shit, all right, even if it's a lower rent they're guaranteeing, at least I know I can afford it. And because the other thing with...
I think developers really get worried about. I think people purchasing in large developments get worried that how the hell are 50 units going to get rented in the first month or first week of the development coming to the market. So I think particularly in larger scale developments, developers offering that pretty clever because, some of these buildings have 500 units coming on at one time, just and everyone moves in. and there's 250, say half, that have to get rented, and people going, how the hell am I going to pay that mortgage? So it's quite clever for a developer to do a rental guarantee for these guys.
Yeah, and people, you know how we always say people pay for convenience? People pay for security as well. And yes, because there are a lot of risks to buy a look at it. They're like, if let's say this suburb only leases 20 properties a month, and there could be 200 come up for lease when the building's complete, like this could take forever. Or I'm going to have to half the rent. I'll have two options as a landlord. Wait 2 to 3 months to get it rented, maybe even longer.
Yep.
Some people already think it takes 4 to 5 weeks to rent a property. So in their mind, they're thinking 3 months to rent out an apartment. Or instead of I'm being told I'll get 500 a week for it, maybe I have to discount it to 250, 300 just to compete against the other 200. So there's some really big points that the perception of rental guarantee, it really gives them that comfort. And you always pay for comfort. Like we find a lot of time with developers, they offer you stamp duty up, but if you look at the week before, the prices were lower. Now they offer you stamp duty, price goes up. So everything's always worked in. It's just how you skin the cat. Like, Mark, we do it with commercial leasing all the time. It's like, well, do you want a longer rent-free and pay more in annual rent, or a shorter rent-free and potentially pay less in annual rent? At the end of the day, your money at the end should equal itself out with a lot of these offers, stamp duty free, rental guarantee. But a lot of the time, the rental guarantee just gives, like you would, if I said to you, you're paying a little bit more, but I can guarantee you your first month's mortgage will be covered by the rent, you're probably going to take that, rather than getting $5,000 off the sale price and be like, shit, I may not be able to cover the mortgage for 2 months until it's rented.
Yeah, and also from people's perspective as well, a rental guarantee comes from the vendor, basically. So that vendor can be a developer, or that vendor can be a single owner. And what they actually do is that they cover the shortfall. So they're still going to, they don't rent the property themselves. They actually rent out to someone in the marketplace if there is. So the rental guarantee, for example, will be $550 a week for a say a 1-bedroom unit. Now, if that developer or that owner rents it for $500 a week, they will top up that $50 a week for you. So it's literally like a guarantee that you're going to get that $550. Now, after that rental guarantee is over and finished, then what happens is the developer will actually give you the tenant, and if that tenant's paying full freight, great. If that tenant's paying less than you want to remove that tenant, you can as well. So with that rental guarantee, you will often get a tenant afterwards, hopefully at more than the guarantee, at the guarantee, or if it's less than guarantee, you can get rid of that tenant as well. But it does allow them to get rid of that.
Yeah,
you know, like
and
that
I think
stress.
Yeah, and I think the big thing to look at as well with the rental guarantee is do your own due diligence on what the market, like, yes, the first year of any new development is always generally an issue with renting because there's a lot more stock sometimes. We did Meriton and DY, and that was phenomenal. They all went for a lot more because it was a very new style of property to the area. So they had no issues. They could have done another double the amount. But sometimes it is a little bit contested. So you really need to look at what the market is, because you may feel better with the guarantee, but if all the developer is trying to do is get that guaranteed rent for you, which sounds good, but what happens if the market's $200 a week more than that? You sometimes limit your control to be able to go select an agent yourself to go get you that rent, because you're doing a deal maybe 2 or 3 years before it's ready. So you guarantee $550, the developer finds you a tenant for $550, but now the market's $700. You sometimes lose that ability to do so.
And don't forget, you don't have the ability to choose your managing agent. You're right there.
Yep.
You're going to be stuck with the agent that the developer chooses, and you will probably inherit that agent as well. So may not be acting in your best interest, that agent. Just be careful.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
reckon that's rental guarantees. Is there any other hooks or sinkers in what we've mentioned with rental guarantees? I'm just trying to think, are there any other
Well, people choose it because of what I sort of said at the beginning, covers the first month's mortgage, 2 months.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's not structured that way. Sometimes it's taken off the sale price. Sometimes it's paid later. So the reason you may look to that guarantee, it may not be there because they're not physically going to be giving you the money up front. It may be in a couple months after. So I think that's why you want why you would pick a unit that has the guarantee over one that wouldn't. Just make sure that is the reason, because I know sometimes it doesn't work out that way. Neil's
so to answer, so is it a gimmick to sign before we sign off? Is it a gimmick, or is it worth it, a rental guarantee, after all the advice we've just spoken about?
I think it's definitely worth it, because
more
for
new developments.
New development, a person who is new to an area, is buying out of area, who doesn't have the time to really do their research, and also may not have the cash flow to support a couple months with no tenant if there is a large supply. So for a lot of buyers, it is a very a weight off their shoulders, you could say. That way, Neil's asked, love watching the show, but has asked, where is Mark? So I love watching these, and Lisa Novak, but I've been wanting to ask for ages, where is Mark? Is he in a tunnel or just driving? Because it's always dark. Great content. Thank you, Neil. Mark,
Thanks, legend. I'll show you. You ready? Here we go, everyone. I'm going to pull that. So I've got a charger. My phone, I've got to pull it off the charger. I'll open the sunroof. I'm in the car. That's the answer. There you go. In the car. There you go. Look at that. Car.
Yeah. But you have a very smart black cloth behind you, which blacks it out.
So it's just black. It's black. And I just opened the sunroof for you. A bit more light. But it's just good that I can be ready to go when I'm doing this. And it's actually the way it's set up. You can do 2 people like that. See? And often it's just then I got a light here. Look.
Smart. Yeah. And if you saw the setup at this end as well, it's pretty insane.
And I've got a light here. So these are these little lights, and then so often I'll run outside at night and sit in the car and do something on live just because the lights are already there, and that's got Velcro on the back. There you go.
And Nikki Parker. But I think that's a wrap. This bank rental guarantees. And
have a great week. Lock it down, guys. Lock it down.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone. Cheers. Bye.
See ya. Bye.